Welcome back to Sochi. We're about to be joining the action down in the pit lane as the cars get ready to embark on their qualifying runs. And as we count down to that green light, I have to say, Anthony Davidson, that this rain is not showing any signs whatsoever of abating. I imagine we'll be looking at some last-minute setup changes to better adapt these cars to the conditions. What do you think?
The trouble is, Crofty, they need to be thinking about the race tomorrow. You don't want to go jacking up the ride heights and piling on a few points of extra downforce that you're not going to want in the Grand Prix itself. The Parc Fermé regulations mean that you have to make that choice. The best thing the drivers can do is adapt with the tools they have available in the cockpit. Moving the brake bias forward will help stop the rear end slipping out under braking, and opening up the differential can really help tame the oversteer on corner exit. The drivers that can make best use of these techniques will have the best chance for success here today.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my rebooted F1 2017 career mode. We are here at a circuit that we haven't seen or raced at in quite a long time. This is Sochi Autodrome for the Russian Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the previous installment from Bahrain, please be sure to do so before you see this one. Somehow we scraped a double points finish from Bahrain, a circuit where I wasn't overly sure the car was going to work, but the car worked nicely, and now I'm hoping it can work just as well here. We have drying conditions at this stage of qualifying, and the race is meant to be wet as well, so it's a wet weekend as we are completing this first Q1 lap, and I'm not going to lie, it feels like a pretty decent lap, and in fact it's good enough for P7, but we have had to go out again because the circuit is dry, and we've gone out to gamble on slicks in the hope that that's the right move to make. And you know what, it actually was a very good move to make, because we're now coming up to finish the lap, and that is very nicely through. Q1 is passed, we are in P8 there, and half the grid just didn't even bother. Our teammate is out, Max Verstappen is also out, as is Felipe Massa, who I thought would be a regular point scorer so far this season, but it's just not really worked out for him, has it? We now head into Q2 at this Sochi circuit. Hold on the brakes, and we're looking pretty good here as well. The car feeling pretty planted as we get through the final corner. That's P8, and I'm very happy with that. That's higher than I expected to be in this Q2 session. And there we are, just in 10th, but still making it through, knocking out Stroll, Sainz, Palmer and co. And Q3, I'm hoping we can get on the 4th row, maybe a 7th and 8th or 8th. I would take either, as we're riding the high end of the curve, pushing the car to its absolute limit. I'm going for it here, because this is an opportunity with a Red Bull out to get ourselves higher up on the grid than we'd normally be. Clipping Apex 1 there, Apex 2. We're not quite on the pace of Sebastian Vettel, but where does that put us? P7, that is one I will happily take. What a lap. P7 on the grid for this Russian Grand Prix, and that has really set us up nicely for some points in the Grand Prix ahead.
It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the Grand Prix itself gets underway. Welcome one and all to the Russian Grand Prix. We're just a stone's throw from the Georgian border here at Sochi as we get ready to begin the race that served up an absolute cracker back in 2015. We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Kimi Räikkönen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, and Perez, a McLaren, Ocon, Grosjean, and Daniel Kvyat, Stroll, Sainz, Jolyon Palmer, and Magnussen, Wehrlein, Verstappen, Nico Hülkenberg and Fernando Alonso. Massa and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
You should have some space going into the first corner, so try to keep it tidy.
The rain has returned on race day, and we have 27 laps of it. But let's see if we can make the best of this race. We're underway here at Sochi. It's a good start, a good initial getaway. But I have got Ocon up the inside, heading into one. And we've got Kvyat as well in his home race, wanting to make a point. But I'm going to take the inside line here. And look how many places we're stealing with that massive dive. We move up into P4. And Valtteri Bottas having to jump out of the way there. But he's now come back. No, he hasn't come back on my right. That's Sergio Perez, who's moved up to 4th. Bottas forced down to 6th. And once again, the championship leader just losing out in this opening stage of the race. But for us, it's up to P5. So we've gained positions off the start, despite losing on that initial getaway. And that big braking move has really helped. Now we've got Valtteri Bottas all over the back of us. And we're still trying to keep up with Sergio Perez. So we're in a very, very good position here as we complete this first lap. I'm going to try and stay with Perez if I can. That was maybe a little bit of a late break. See if that could turn into anything, but it didn't. The front three are starting to streak away here. And we're losing ground to Sergio Perez. Bottas is now having a look on the left. He's getting through, but I'm on the inside. I'm on the brakes, and Bottas not quite able to make it. He's been forced wide there, and now we're side by side, but we're not letting Bottas have this easy. Regardless of the fact that he's in a Mercedes, I'm in a top 5 position, and I want to hold on to that for as long as I can, but we're sliding and struggling through some of these slower corners. We've got a yellow flag ahead of us. Who is it that's out of the race? Bottas going for the move, but he can't make that stick as we've gone wide, and he wouldn't have been able to get through anyway. It's Sebastian Vettel again for the 3rd race in a row, finding himself out of it, and that is one of the most miserable starts to a championship I have seen. Bottas is now trying to go around the outside. I'm allowing him the space if he thinks he can do it. And Bottas again trying to go for the outside, but it's not quite working out. And Bottas having to wait another lap. The front three are getting away at quite the rate of knots there. As I've gone a little bit deep, that's going to allow Bottas a quick go around the outside. But we've tagged, and we're still holding on, but Bottas not quite able to get through, and there's a Red Bull there as well, which I believe is Daniel Ricciardo. We've gone a bit wide here, and this should be Bottas through, but we managed to block him, but he's still having a look to the inside. Bottas really trying to get this move done at the end of lap 3, and I think that should be the move done, although we've managed to switch to the inside line. I've got a bit deep. I don't know if we're going to be able to hold the position. Bottas trying to stay on the right. It's not actually worked for him, so he's been quite submissive there. And there's myself and Bottas going side by side into turn 1. Is Bottas through this time? I'm going to try on the outside to make it back through. And Bottas, understeering into me there. But again, not able to go through, and we're really ruining his day here because the front three of Raikkonen, Hamilton and Perez are all just disappearing up the road, and Bottas is not able to do anything about us at this early stage of this Russian Grand Prix. But he's going for it here, and once again Bottas trying to get through, and this time I think we had to concede, but Bottas was through. And Valtteri making the move stick this time, moving into P4. I did try braking a bit later, but Bottas had that done. And now we've got Daniel Ricciardo having a go, and Ricciardo's coming through here, And I'm going to try and stop him around the outside, but Ricciardo has parked that beautifully for a nice defence here. I'm, however, looking to try and get round the outside here, but Ricciardo's had a wobble and got into us. Round he goes, and I think he's taken Ocon with him. I was on the outside there, and Ricciardo, it looked like, just went understeered right into me, clips the wall, loses the car, and takes Esteban Ocon in the Force India with him. We're riding on board with him now. You can see where Ricciardo tagged me, and Ocon with absolutely nothing he could do about that. What was Ricciardo doing? Because I was on the outside, and he just came right over onto my line. There was nothing I could have done to avoid him there, and, well, that was a nasty collision. But that has moved Daniel Kvyat, up into P6, and we're running in P5 with Bottas having gone through. Now my plan is simple, to run these tyres as long as I can, because the conditions are improving, and I just wonder, are they going to dry out? If they do, I'm going to run these tyres as long as I can physically run them to see if that will work out for us. And it has stopped raining now, so the circuit might dry up, and there are drivers now coming in for fresh tyres, fresh intermediates, and that has moved us up into P4, and I think we will be up into P3 because we've got Valtteri Bottas in the pits now. I think whoever's ahead is safe. Raikkonen is safe, but we're now running in P3, and if the track does dry out now, we are looking at potentially a podium finish. Could we grab a podium in only our 4th Grand Prix of this career mode? We are really going strong here. At the moment, Bottas now is all over us, and again we've got 10 laps to try and hold him off once again, but this time we've got much older tyres, whereas Bottas is on fresh intermediate, so he's going to have grip, he is going to have traction, and the circuit is not really trying at the rate I'd hoped it would, so that's really putting us a little bit on the backward step, as it were, but we are still holding on, and Bottas is now having a go. He is on my left, I'm on the right. What can we do here? Can we break a bit later than Bottas and save the position? I've tried to give him space, and Bottas backs out for now. So, still holding on to P3 with 9 laps to go, including the lap we're on. This is going to be a tense run to the end, but can we hold on to P3? Can we hold on for a podium? Bottas coming right at us here, and where the circuit isn't drying, I don't know, I don't feel like we'll be able to take the tyres to the end of the race. Bottas on the left once again, but still not making it through, and I would have thought that with the traction, Bottas would have had a great shot there, but he's just not using it. Bottas not using it at the moment, and he's going to burn out his tyres following us with this attack if he doesn't get past relatively soon. And at the moment, we're running fine, I'm going to be honest. Yes, okay, we are quite significantly slower than the cars in front. I don't care, we're not fighting them. We're fighting Bottas behind, who's getting ever more determined now to get past. And he's found a way down the inside here. I'm trying to hold out, and Bottas is through. I might have a go up the inside here. We're diving it, and Bottas has to give that one up because we dive straight back through. But the initial move from Bottas there, that was pretty good. Now he's down the inside again, no way through there. I'm trying to hold on, really trying to hold on, but Bottas has the inside. I'm going to try and hold on round the outside. We are holding on round the outside. Bottas has now got the outside. Nope, he's backed out, and we have retaken the position. I am giving it everything with tyres that are just starting to feel a little bit sore, and now we've gone a bit deep. Bottas, look at the momentum he's got. Surely he's going to have a go here. Surely he's having a go. He is having a go. To the left he goes. Bottas, is he through? Yes, he is. Can we break a bit later? yes, we can. Bottas has gone very deep there. And now I'm going to try and hold off around the outside. There is a bit of wheel banging. Bottas getting very forceful. He's through, but he's had a wobble, which means we can send it to the inside. Bottas on the outside, and he's still not through. Oh, we've gone wide. We've gone wide. We've had a wobble, and the grip is just starting to run out for us here. And we are down to P4, and Sergio Perez now all over the back of me. And I've no doubt he is going to find this move quite easy to make, as he has a look to the inside, and there is wheel banging, and Perez, I think, is through. Yes, he is. I'm trying to have a look to the inside. No way through there. We just don't have the traction or the grip. Down into P5 we go. And with the way these tyres are feeling, I decided I didn't want to gamble to the end and potentially puncture and lose a result, especially when we'd lost the result we were fighting for. We are going to lose a place to Daniel Kvyat, but we have got much fresher tyres that we can fight him with. So through goes Kvyat now, and we are going to be able to push up to him in the next couple of laps. We've got 4 to do it in. The track not really drying out at all. It's very much stayed the same pretty much since the rain stopped, to be honest. It is getting a tiny bit drier, but nothing really that is massively noticeable. Here we are then on the last lap, and that's a send on Kvyat. Kvyat holding on there and keeping the position. It's now down to us to find a place to get him. It is the last lap. Can we actually get him, or are we going to end up finishing this race in P6? I don't know. We've got a little bit wide there. We've got Magnussen miles behind in 7th, but this is what it comes down to now. Can we get past Danny Kvyat on this final lap of this Russian Grand Prix? And what a Grand Prix it's been. If we hold on to this position, we match our best finish. But if we can just get past this Toro Rosso, we're going to better our best finish. And Kvyat's had a tiny wobble there, and that is going to allow a very late lunge here as we go for Kvyat. No, Kvyat covers. So now it's a case of using everything we have of our rich mix down this straight. And look at us, we're catching Kvyat, catching. Just getting a nice bit of slipstream to take down the inside here. Still not able to make it work. And Kvyat's very slow round there. And this might actually be our last chance here to dive into this chicane. Kvyat we're having a go down the inside. Kvyat's trying to hold on, and we forced him to the very inside. We're side by side here. Can we make it work? We've got the better exit, and surely we're going to brake later. We do brake later and take P5. So it's going to be P5 in this Russian Grand Prix. What a race, what a drive. But I really thought for a moment that the podium was on.
Brilliant stuff from Mercedes today. That's another historic win. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Well, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day, the overtaking, looking after the tyres, but at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else, and that's exactly what they had today.
So as I say that, we can see the drivers coming out now to collect their trophies. It's yet more silverware to take back to their base in Brackley after another excellent Grand Prix. So then, it's time
so there's your race results. Hamilton, Raikkonen and Bottas, Perez, your front 4. And then it's myself in 5th. 10 juicy championship points. Points that I'm grateful to get. That is our best finish to date. But they're over a minute behind the leaders, so we do need to work on pace. And we need to keep improving the car if we're going to fight any higher up. But for today, P5 will do. Kvyat gets 6th, Magnussen 7th, Ocon 8th, Grosjean 9th, and Sainz 10th. So you know what? Quite a few names in the points that you wouldn't atypically see. And Verstappen just not able to make it to the points. And in the standings, we have moved up to 8th now. Bottas increasing his lead still to 20 points. Raikkonen 24 behind. And Vettel, well, 65 points off the lead of the championship. That is miserable for him. The two Red Bulls are 5th and 6th. Kvyat is 7th. And then it's us, Ocon and Sainz completing the top 10. And I tell you what, Toro Rosso have had an immense start to the season. Looking so strong at this stage. Well, thank you for watching this instalment of Career Mode. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. And until the next time, TTFN, ta-ta for now, take care and enjoy the rest of your day.